still had the drive. We were still determined to do it because we love to do it. Finally got a deal, got signed, put out music, and then, well, let me go back. 6 months before recording Protect Your Neck, I had just left Cold Chillin' Records, and RZA had just left Tommy Boy Records due to lack of promotions, support for our records. The label I was signed to was too busy, too occupied trying to support their bigger acts, which is, I understand that now because it is a business. And they were also looking for music that was kind of similar to what was out there already. That's what labels do. It's a hit, they want to follow it. That's how it is. But they were looking for something like that, and we clashed and it didn't work. And it was kind of disappointing and discouraging because we had spent so many years making demos and trying to shop out there and calling labels and sending tapes, and I'm sure the label had a trash room that went from the mail room to the trash room because that's what they do with a lot of artists. On top of that, I made a foolish move by quitting a city job that I had to take a test for and wait 4 years for them to hire me. Yeah, I used to work for the transit authority. I was still on probation because I had a record deal. So my head was like, kind of souped up about it. And so this first experience in the music industry, several months later, Wu-Tang was formed. When we recorded Into the Wu-Tang, it was in a place called Firehouse Studios in Manhattan. I mean, the place was on fire, and the bees were buzzing all over the place. There was all this energy, it was positive, the atmosphere was peaceful, and it was sound or music that was the force that grouped us together. But too much fun and excitement in a working environment is a distraction for me. I get distracted easily. I like to write alone, which probably explains why on Wu-Tang Forever I'm only doing 1 CD out of 2. Because I spent a lot of time playing chess and ping pong in the studio. I did. I remember one time Raekwon saying that brothers would write rhymes like they shoot pool and play ping pong, we got 30 albums done. So, as a clan, we might collectively come up with ideas, but then I'll need to get away and formulate my approach and actually put pen to paper. Once I get inspiration, I'll start writing. Inspiration doesn't always come to me in words, but it always comes to me from living beings or objects. That's where I draw my inspiration from. I can get inspiration from a baby learning how to walk because the key to walking is balance. And so much of what we do in life requires balance. So just from looking at that, I can draw inspiration. I can also get inspiration because it comes as an idea. I can get it from the unique, complex design of the spider web, just from looking at it. And also to know that spider web is 10, 20, 30 times stronger than steel, which some of y'all probably don't know. It makes it more inspiring to know that. So in reality, it is the spider that has inspired me. Because I think every being and object within the universe is connected somehow, whether visibly or invisibly. I've seen that in labs, from micro to macro. Also, I think the deeper one sees into life, the wider life opens itself to one. You see that from working in the lab. The more you study something, the more you understand it. opens up to. I think to write a story is to create a world of your own. And it is said that a world in the making can be likened to a great jigsaw puzzle whose separate parts have life and are capable of independent movement. I think these separate parts are living things. When I write a song, it's a lot like building a puzzle. Sometimes you start with a certain part or an image, sometimes with the frame, sometimes a certain color. And just like when you're rhyming, because rhyming for me is a visual language. It's visual. And when I write, not only do I create an atmosphere, but the atmosphere is also created within me. When I write lyrics, I only write from the author's or writer's point of view. I write as a director, I write as a cameraman, because to me what's audible is visible, and what's visible is audible. What I mean by that, if I say the word television, you automatically probably think plasma, flat screen. You may think of the remote control. You may also think of a program you want to see later when you get back home. If I mention the word ashtray, you automatically think of a cigarette. So that which was audible, which came out of my mouth, and became visible in your head. That's something you really have no control over. That's how things work. But that's how it is for me with writing, because these things, we have an influence on each other, our thoughts and ideas can come to you as light or it can come as sound. You can see it or you can hear it. Then you get your visuals. Some composers, they score movies from reading the script, and then some score movies from watching the film. You can do it either way, but we get to the same destination. Sometimes I can just write straight through once I have a concept. Other times I get ideas in the middle of nowhere and I write down on the nearest piece of paper. Sometimes in the midst of writing, I'll come up with a line that may be the sixth line and not the first. Because this is how it feels to me. This is how it's coming to me. A lot of times artists write, usually whatever they put down on paper is the first line. Sometimes I switch it around, it's a certain way to do it. For me, I just, gather information and put it out there. One thing I wanted to speak about martial arts also, never teach the Wu-Tang secret. Kung Fu. Wu-Tang is a sword style of Kung Fu. And as far as hip-hop, Wu-Tang is a sword style of rhyming. You see the tongue, which we say is a sword, or symbolic to the sword, when it motion it produces wind when you're speaking. So, like we say, when you hear whoa, 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 that's the sword swinging. And when you hear tang, that's it hitting your neck. So you always protect that neck. But, Kung Fu has played a major role in lives throughout the years, or karate or whatever, back in the days of Bruce Lee. It started with Bruce Lee. Enter the Dragon. We would go watch these movies when we were young, and then we would leave the movie theater doing kicks, hitting each other, flipping, that was our superhero. And not only was it good on set, it was good off set. Dudes always challenging. It's like hip-hop. You can see similarities in it. Guys was always challenging them off and on the set, just like MCs would challenge Wu-Tang off and on stage. We run into guys and they'll be trying to challenge us. Most of the time we were battling, because that's what it was about. But we learned how, before we even understood these stories we were watching, and with the stories happening then, it was all about the action. And then years later, we applied what we were watching to our music, far as being disciplined, having love for your brother, practicing, working, writing, constantly studying. You know, a writer once said, told me, I don't really write a lot. I said, well, you should write every day. That's what I do in my head. Grandmaster said, you should study every day. Every day you should study chess. So this thing with martial arts became a big part of our lives from childhood up until when we would go to 42nd Street, which is Times Square, and we would spend probably $2.50 to $3 to watch 3 movies. We'd be in there for 6 hours, probably twice a week. Cutting school. Also, I remember this song was called Kung Fu Fighting. From the old school. It was just, so it was a way of even incorporating karate or Kung Fu into pop culture. So that was something that just gave us an extra boost. You know, going to the flex and then having this song, it was like, it was incredible to have that. You know, little boys, they love action heroes, so I'm pretty sure we all grew up having some heroes. So Bruce Lee, Jim Kelly, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, you know, so on and so on. But it kind of reminds us of when we used to battle, walking from borough to borough. I remember being in Brooklyn, and I would just ask around who was the best, and I would go look for it. I was battling this guy one day that had killed police with me. So the police was a little younger. We were now 13. And we went, and I got out to the table. And it was 2 words. He had this strong voice, you know. I'm mature, not as fast as a lot of kids. So I didn't have that strong voice and all that, but I always had the lyrics. And he had this deep voice, strong voice, and he thought that would intimidate me. And we were in front of his building. It's like the flicks, one dude roll up, this dude roll up, there's 40 people outside the school. And he had like 40 dudes with him. The priest was like, oh, stop, like, let me go hard on him. But I didn't care. I just went for it because it was in my heart. I wasn't thinking, you know, about getting beat up and all that. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't care, just go for it. So nothing is going to stop you. You know? And those were fun days. We would walk all over, from Manhattan to Brooklyn. You know, I even have a line on the song I got called Autobio, where I say, I wore my boots out from constant walks across the borough. We tore the troops out the frame when they challenged the most fellow. So that's what we used to do. We loved it. It was in us. You know, I learned that, you know, music is a divine art. So like a musician, I compose until the instrument becomes my heart. And you know, when you love what you do, like when I went to the lab today, that's when